When Fight Club hit theaters in 1999, no one was ready for what they saw. A movie about identity, rebellion, and self-destruction disguised itself as an action film, but it was something much deeper. Beneath the punches, the soap, and the explosions was a coded message about consumerism, masculinity, and control. David Fincher didn't just direct a movie, he built a psychological maze. Every frame hides a symbol, every character a mirror, every line a confession of a society on the edge of collapse. Brad Pitt became more than Tyler Durden, he became an idea. Edward Norton played a man losing himself, while Helena Bonham Carter embodied chaos wrapped in empathy. But what truly happened behind the scenes was even darker. Secret studio battles, hidden messages, lost edits, and the ending that almost destroyed Fincher's career. This is Fight Club, the film Hollywood tried to silence. And today, we're pulling back the curtain. Before we dive into the 10 secrets that changed film history, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment your favorite moment below. Your support means everything. Each click, each comment fuels this channel and gives me the energy to uncover more of cinema's forgotten truths. Without you, these stories stay buried. So, thank you, and let's begin. Fact 1. The hidden frames that broke the rules of editing. When Fight Club hit theaters in 1999, most viewers had no idea David Fincher was quietly rewriting the grammar of film editing. Hidden inside several scenes, literally a single frame at a time, were flashes of Tyler Durden, appearing long before the audience even knew who he was. Fincher used these subliminal images to plant unease in the subconscious, creating the feeling that something dangerous was always watching. The trick was borrowed from early propaganda films and 1960s experiments in subliminal advertising. Fincher's editor, James Haygood, later revealed they spent nights manually inserting those frames one by one, testing how fast the human eye could process them. Actor Brad Pitt, who played Tyler, laughed when he saw the final cut, because the first time he appears on screen, it isn't even him talking. It's a frame-long ghost. Meanwhile, Edward Norton, the narrator, said the flashes made him feel haunted by his own alter ego. Even Helena Bonham Carter noticed audience reactions changing once the subliminals appeared. People leaned forward without realizing why. Fincher later admitted he hid another secret, a split-second image of, let's just say, adult content spliced near the ending, a prank matching Tyler's anarchic philosophy. Critics called it subversive genius. What looked like a psychological thriller was actually a study in manipulation, crafted one invisible frame at a time. That's how Fincher turned editing itself into a character, proof that what you don't consciously see can still mess with your mind. Fact 2. Brad Pitt's broken tooth and the obsession with real pain. One of the most shocking behind-the-scenes details of Fight Club is that Brad Pitt quite literally broke himself to make Tyler Durden feel real. While most actors rely on makeup or camera tricks, Pitt had a dentist chip his front tooth for real before filming started, because he thought Tyler's grin shouldn't be perfect. Director David Fincher didn't ask him to do it. It was Pitt's idea, a way to show that Tyler lived rough, fought dirty, and smiled through pain. Co-star Edward Norton recalled that when Pitt first walked on set with the chipped tooth, the crew went silent, thinking he'd been in an actual fight. Pitt just laughed and said, "It had to look earned." The physical commitment didn't stop there. During the underground fight sequences, both Pitt and Norton agreed to make partial contact in certain shots. In one take, Norton really punched Pitt in the ear, a moment that made it into the film. Fincher loved it so much he built the scene's rhythm around that genuine reaction. Even Helena Bonham Carter noticed how the energy on set changed after that day. The movie stopped feeling like performance. It started feeling like therapy. By the time filming wrapped, Pitt's chipped tooth had become a symbol. The line between acting and becoming the role had blurred, and that's exactly what Fight Club was all about. Losing control, just enough to find something true. Fact 3. The real basement that inspired Fight Club. The grimy, sweat-soaked basements of Fight Club weren't built in Hollywood at all. They were inspired by real underground boxing clubs that director David Fincher and author Chuck Palahniuk had both heard whispers about in the early 1990s. During Palahniuk's interviews, he admitted that the idea for Fight Club came after he returned from a camping trip with a bruised face, and no one at work dared ask what happened. That silence fascinated him. It made him wonder, what if men could release frustration through secret violence, then return to their jobs pretending nothing happened? When Fincher adapted the novel, he wanted the set design to feel like those hidden, outlawed gyms from the late 80s. Production designer Alex McDowell toured abandoned Los Angeles buildings, damp basements, old hotels, even condemned bars, to build a space that looked dangerous, yet oddly spiritual. Edward Norton later revealed that shooting those scenes felt claustrophobic and real. The air was filled with dust and machine oil, and the floor was constantly wet from fake blood mixed with water. He said, "It smelled like metal and sweat, exactly how the movie should." Even Brad Pitt noted that some extras showed up bruised before filming, not from makeup, but from underground fight clubs that existed in real life. The line between fiction and reality blurred. The basement became more than a set. It was a symbol of rebellion, of primal honesty, of men trying to feel something real in a world that felt fake. Fincher captured that not by building Hollywood perfection, but by letting imperfection speak. Fact 4, Brad Pitt's real-life descent into Tyler Durden. When Brad Pitt agreed to play Tyler Durden, he didn't just act the part, he lived it. During interviews, Pitt admitted that to understand Durden's philosophy, anti-materialism, chaos, freedom, he stripped away parts of his own real life. He smashed his perfect Hollywood smile, literally. Weeks before shooting, he went to a dentist and had pieces of his front teeth chipped off to look more authentic. He said, "Tyler wouldn't have a perfect smile. He's raw, he's real," but the transformation went further. On set, Pitt and Edward Norton started actually fighting before takes, not rehearsed choreography, but real punches to wake up the adrenaline. Norton confirmed this in a 2019 podcast, saying, "We'd hit each other for real sometimes. It helped us trust the violence." Director David Fincher encouraged this rawness. He told both actors to forget the choreography, make it messy. What resulted was chaos so real that the studio insurance team tried to shut down several sequences. Pitt's method acting began to worry the crew. He stopped sleeping normally, ate almost nothing but protein shakes, and kept filming bare-chested even when the set temperature dropped below 50 degrees. His co-star Helena Bonham Carter, who played Marla Singer, said Pitt seemed possessed, like he was exercising something on screen. That's the secret. Tyler Durden wasn't just a character, he was a reflection of the parts of Brad Pitt he'd buried under fame. The deeper he went, the blurrier the line became between the man and the myth. Fact 5. Edward Norton's secret. The script. He rewrote. Most people don't know that Fight Club's script wasn't fully written by the credited screenwriter, Jim Uhls. In fact, Edward Norton secretly rewrote large parts of it, especially the narrator's inner monologues. Norton, who's known for his perfectionism, felt that the original script didn't capture the psychological tension of the character. He studied Chuck Palahniuk's novel line by line and began rewriting dialogue without telling anyone at first. David Fincher later admitted he loved Norton's additions and let him keep going. That's how the famous "I am Jack's smirking revenge" monologue was born. It was Norton's idea to bring those internal thoughts from the novel to life through voiceover. Norton even restructured entire scenes, including the therapy group and the plane introduction to Brad Pitt's character, Tyler Durden. His changes made the story more psychological, less linear, and more disturbing, exactly what Fincher wanted. It's a rare case where an actor helped reshape the film's identity, blurring the line between screenwriter and performer. Without those rewrites, Fight Club might have felt more like a thriller, not the modern, existential masterpiece it became. Fact 6. The Starbucks Easter egg. No one noticed. Fight Club mocked consumer culture, yet it quietly included one of the world's biggest brands in nearly every scene. David Fincher admitted that there's a Starbucks cup in almost every single scene of the movie. It wasn't product placement, it was satire. Fincher said, "When I first moved to LA, there were Starbucks everywhere. I thought, what if there's a cup in every shot?" The crew actually contacted Starbucks to ask permission, and the company surprisingly said yes. as long as the cup wasn't destroyed in any scene. What most people don't realize is that this became a running joke on set. Norton and Brad Pitt would sneak cups into scenes Fincher didn't plan for just to mess with him. So, next time you watch Fight Club, look closely. That harmless coffee cup became one of cinema's most clever background jokes. Fact 7. The real bruises were never makeup. You watch Fight Club, those bruises and cuts look disturbingly real, because many of them were. According to the crew, Brad Pitt and Edward Norton refused to use fake blood or light contact fights. They hit each other for real in several takes, especially during the parking lot and kitchen scenes. Fincher believed it would create authenticity, and it did. Makeup artists said they sometimes didn't need to touch up wounds. They were genuine. Norton once said in an interview, "Those punches hurt," but you could feel the truth on screen. The fight scenes became so intense that one stunt coordinator temporarily left the production, calling it reckless genius. It's that obsession with realism that made Fight Club's violence unforgettable, raw, ugly, and strangely poetic. Fact 8. The hidden frame you probably missed. Fight Club hides something right in front of your eyes. Literally. Throughout the film, there are single-frame flashes of Tyler Durden before his official appearance. You can see him standing behind a copier, in a corridor, even reflected on a screen, but only for a fraction of a second. Fincher used this trick to mimic subliminal advertising, another jab at consumer culture. The editor, James Haygood, confirmed there were 5 subliminal frames scattered across the first act. Each one lasts just 1/24th of a second. Too fast for conscious detection, but your brain registers it. These quick flashes make you subconsciously anticipate Tyler's arrival before you even know him. It's one of the smartest examples of psychological editing in film history. Fact 9. The ending that no one understood. The ending of Fight Club, the skyline collapsing as "Where Is My Mind" plays, wasn't the studio's choice. 20th Century Fox executives initially hated it. They demanded Fincher use an alternate version where the narrator shoots himself and dies, cutting to black. Fincher refused. He believed the destruction of the skyscrapers was symbolic, destroying not the world, but the illusion of control. What's even more fascinating is that the song choice was suggested by Edward Norton, not Fincher. He thought the Pixies' surreal tone perfectly mirrored the mental break of his character. Today, it's one of cinema's most iconic endings, but few know it was almost erased. Fact 10. The message that got misunderstood. For years, Fight Club was blamed for glorifying violence, but both Fincher and author Chuck Palahniuk have said the film was misunderstood. It wasn't about destruction, it was about the loss of identity in a consumer-driven world. Fincher once said, "Tyler Durden isn't a hero, he's the warning sign." Ironically, some fans turned his message upside down. Real underground fight clubs started appearing across the US after the movie's release. Palahniuk said he was both flattered and horrified. He explained, "People saw Tyler's freedom, but not his emptiness." Over time, though, Fight Club found its rightful legacy, not as a guide to chaos, but as a mirror of modern man's confusion. It dared to say, "You are not your job, you are not your khakis," and that's what made it unforgettable. Fight Club wasn't just a movie, it was a mirror. It showed us how far people will go to feel something real in a world built on illusion. If you made it this far, it means you love diving deep, not just watching movies, but understanding the truth behind them. So before you go, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Your support means everything. It's what keeps this channel alive and pushes me to uncover more secrets hidden behind Hollywood's walls. Every new subscriber gives me a reason to keep digging, to bring you stories that no one else dares to tell. Comment below what movie you want me to break next. Maybe a classic we all forgot, or a dark legend Hollywood tried to bury. Until next time, this is Hidden Story Vault, where we don't just watch movies, we decode them.